Hi, everyone,
Yeah.
from the Twitter Spaces, from Discord, to our last community call of the year, our holiday edition. This is the 15th, which we'll see when this whole thing started, but 15 is a pretty good number, so I'm very grateful that we got to do this many with you guys. So let's get into it. A little bit of a forward, like usually. This is the holiday edition one. It's going to be us trying. We worked really hard on like trying to fit a year into 40 minutes. So we're gonna look back on all the events that we shared together as a community, as how Guild grew this past year, how the community grew, and yeah, what happened. We tried to pick the like highlights, especially towards the community and what we did. So, as a collective, so let's get into it. Let's start with January. Hannah, I think you should start that one.
Yes. Let's get started. How we actually started the year with you all. If we look back to January, we can say that Guild was in alpha. We were in an alpha phase. We were still testing and doing all the improvements and developments. We had around few hundreds of guilds. For example, Crow's House, we had Seed Club with us, and also Sismo. It was a really fun experience to look back, to just scroll down, see which ones are the guilds that was created the more time ago. At this time, we had around 3,000 guild members in total. In total means like in every single guild we had on Guild.xyz. And also, we started the year without our guild, which means we didn't even have a community back then. We just had the alphas with us. And then we were heading into February, which was a really fun and exciting month, especially for me.
Yeah,
So,
so as like in January, we did not have a guild yet. We did not have an existing community. We did have what I posted in the secret chamber is we did have our Agora space server, which is, as we sometimes hint but don't really talk about, is kind of like the lab slash the DAO slash the developer hub behind Guild.xyz. So we had that, but we really wanted to focus on Guild as a brand and as a community, and we needed much more help with that. So very lucky for us, Hannah joined the team in February. Woo! And yeah, after 5 months of being in the alpha phase, we decided to leave it because our mark for that was having our, I think we had 10,000 active guild members, and we wanted to have our SDK out. So that was our mark. So we left the alpha phase with a big announcement. It was called Our Guild is Evolving, and a big Twitter space with a few friends that helped us spread the word around this. It was very exciting. And with this, we started our guild, which was, this is what we named, our guild, our community, which kind of got stuck with us. And I think it's very cute, so I don't mind. We only had a few hundred members for quite a few months in our guild with the alpha tester role, then coming from our guild is evolving announcement where we sold 10 collectible NFT hoodies. We had a role for them, which is still in our guild. So we had a not a very populated our guild, but it was starting. It was very cute, very wholesome. And then we also had some new communities join us, which was a very big milestone for us. The Lens Protocol team started using us, and also the Cow Swap team, which is one of the sub DAOs of, or one of the sub projects out of the Gnosis ecosystem. It was very, very good confirmation as that larger, well established communities started using Guild. Um, yeah, and then right after, since Hannah was already in the team, so we did have the community firepower and expertise and brain. We did start developing our first ever like community structure, community strategy, where we started experimenting with some initiatives and um, events and different role systems and everything. We also started to have a public roadmap because, as you guys know, we're very big players on developing and communicating as openly as we can. And a big part of that was us having this open roadmap where the community, anyone could enter um, parts and points on the roadmap, and they could be upvoted or downvoted. So we would have a better resource to decide how many people want to see a certain feature, how well we should implement that, or kind of help us a little bit with prioritization. That was out for quite some months. I think we only sunsetted it recently because it no one used it at the end. So it was used for a few months when it came out in February, and then we sunsetted it recently. But it was a really cool initiative, and we really enjoyed getting very straightforward feedback from that. And then we're already
Yeah.
at March.
Yes, actually, I think we just closed that page around 2 weeks ago or something like this, because we always had feature requests on our Discord server or in DMs from specific groups and teams we talk to. So yeah, at one point it just didn't make sense to keep it for us. And after that, we just arrived to March, and as Rika said before, our goal was to launch our SDK, and it did happen in March. We launched the very first version of the SDK, and how it is now, how it looks, and how is it structured is posted in the Secret Chamber channel, so you can check it out. And from a community perspective, what happened in March? It's a really special thing for me, because actually in March we held the first ever Guild community call. It was really exciting because this is funny saying it now, but it was a really big number for me because I just joined the team and all these things. But we had in the audience we had 18 members, and this number was with the team. And this is so fun because we had the same kind of preparation. We were so excited to do this. And after that, we were so grateful for everyone for coming. And we just said thank you for the whole team also. So looking back, this is something which is like, it will always have a special place in my heart. Because ever since it happened, we already had 15 community calls with special guests also on stage, such as we had the Colfax from GitHub, we had Tim from 101, and also we had Otterspace and Nukes on another call. So I can say that from as a community lead, like not only our product but also our community, like started evolving in March, and then we hit April.
Yeah, I'll take over that. So in April is where usually the crypto tour season starts. It starts earlier next year. It's gonna start with ETH Denver in February. But last year for us, it started, or this year, it started with April when we went to Amsterdam for, there was Dev Connect and an Ethereum hackathon and a Daoist event. And we got very lucky to have the opportunity to present Guild on stage or be as Guild founders on stage at the Daoist event, where we mostly didn't necessarily talk about, we didn't pitch Guild, but we talked more about the functionality that we were about to launch, which was um, kind of, well, access management and with an effect of security and securing servers from bots, because the more requirements and roles you have in a server, the harder it is for bots to qualify for those. And we also had like a sub product that comes later that we're gonna get into, that were launched after this, but we kind of wanted to feel out the system by kind of telling a little bit about it at this event, and we got a lot of useful feedback from extremely good researchers who work in this field in the US, and we got really good questions from them. We also had our first Lego workshop. This is the first ever event that we took our Lego kits to as our merchandise, and they were a really good success. We did this workshop. We had the chance to have some time for ourselves, and for some reason, I think we have to evolve from this, but we might be a little bit too anti-salesy, but we didn't have this workshop to shill Guild again. We had it more for we just wanted to have like a relaxing Lego experience. We wanted to have a little space for people to connect and chill out over this conference because it was very busy. And it was a hit. People loved playing with Lego and they really, really enjoyed this. So it was a very good feedback session for us to keep doing this. And Lego is a really, really sick merch. And especially that we have these as repurposed Legos. So they already had a life before. So it's, it's wholesome all the way around. So it was very good for us to kickstart this, continuing into the next year. Also in Amsterdam, I got the chance to talk a little bit about permissionless or curated communities, which was actually a workshop. And I'm a little bit mad that they didn't record it because I was right after lunch, so the tech team was still out at lunch or something. But it was really, really good. One of the best workshops I ever did. We talked a lot about, how much permissioning is actually necessary in a group for that to still be inclusive and accessible, but have a lot of privacy and efficiency in it. It was a really good workshop. It was at Shelling Point. That's organized by Gitcoin usually during main events in the year. And then last thing that happened in April was that our query engine that we secretly brewed up in the back, it's called Balancy, we became a little bit more public with it by enabling cross-chain requirements in real time and for checking these requirements in real time. We made a little announcement about this on Twitter, but that's all we did. We also didn't name it Balancy just yet. We just introduced the functionality that we can actually do this, which was really fun. And then May, we're already like 5th month. We're racing through this.
Yes. We started May with a really fun event. On 4th of May, we hosted a Star Wars quiz night on the first Wednesday of the month with our friends at Party Space as a celebration for launching our SDK for token gating. Actually, a fun fact, this Star Wars event was our first ever real SDK integration done by another project, the Party Space. We had a really fun time. Personally, I've never been to an event like this. Everyone could choose which Star Wars emoji they want to have at their face. I will just post the picture in the secret chamber how it looked like. It was so fun. We had the whole place specialized, customized with Guild design everywhere. We had a quiz there, and on the quiz we had NFTs as rewards. So it was really fun. Actually, I would say it was one of the most exciting event we ever hosted with someone collectively, because everyone who joined any guild on Guild.xyz had the opportunity to join.
And I think you guys could remember, I think many of you were at this event, by the way. I remember it was a little chaotic, and the presenter person who hosted the quiz, I think, got locked out or like lost connection at some point. So we were just kind of hanging out in the metaverse at some point. But it was really nice to see the Guild SDK in action, and we could join through the integration. That was really impressive and a big moment for us to see the vision come to life. So I'll take it over to the news in May, which was one of our attempts to have kind of a sub product within Guild. What I hinted at in April, where we talked about our bot protection system at the DAO West in April, is Guild Guard, as we named it. So May, we announced Guild Guard to protect servers from malicious bots. It had a few servers that used this pretty successfully. Then I think we fully put this back in the drawer because we want to have something more sophisticated for this as a solution. But it was a very, very good start, and we had amazing feedback on it. Good experiment, still in the process of being more refined for the future, but definitely a good move in the right direction. And then something very close to my heart started happening is that we weren't only in the core of like tokenized communities and the DAO space anymore, because in May, a few artists have started exploring Guild and using it for their communities. One very renowned artist called RAC started using us in May with a special min max token requirement, which we developed specifically for him because he does have his own social token, also called RAC, I think. And then he wanted to have requirements for his audience or his community based on this people, how many tokens do they hold specifically? Is it between 50 and 100, or is it 100 and 500? Like how big of a holder the person is. So that was an interesting experiment, and we're very happy to welcome a lot more artists this year moving forward, but this was the first time that we saw that happen. And then something else that also is very close to my heart, Zug, who still is, I think, the community manager of Juicebox DAO, or Juicebox, which is also one of our earlier integrations from last year. We started this Founder Talk series on Twitter Space, which we did for quite some time. I think quite a few months. We had a lot of guests, but our first happened in May. And yeah, we did have an amazing time interviewing quite a few people, and it was a very good experience to know how to host better. And also Twitter Spaces were poppin' at that time, so it was good to know how to do that well. And also Twitter Spaces kind of suck now. I don't know if you guys tried, but since the Elon takeover, Twitter Spaces have been breaking, and a lot of people are complaining that they stop mid show and they just break and people lose audio and it doesn't even happen, or the scheduling is misscheduled. So I'm very happy that we experimented this when it was really nicely working and it was fun. So let's get into June. We're already 6 months in the year. It's kind of a crazy journey already. And when we were looking back at these, it really felt like some of these things we did, it felt like I did it, or we did it like a year ago, but really it was a few months ago. Like it really does feel like we didn't have our first community call in March. It feels like we've been doing this for years. But the facts are facts. So yeah, let's continue with June. The crypto touring continued, and we decided to go to New York City because we had a chance to participate in the DAO NYC event during NFT NYC, which is a very big, very scary, very medium quality conference. But DAO NYC was great. It was the first of its kind, and it was a smaller event. It was almost a side event to NFT NYC, but we really had the chance to be amongst builders, other builders who are working in this space, and it was so nice to meet them. And a lot of them heard about Guild, and we can just talk about it. It was so nice. It was very good validation and a very honoring experience. So I hope we can have this moving forward, but it was just really nice to see a lot of people that you've been talking to or building with for a little bit of time. And I don't know, like it was just really wholesome to talk to them, hug them, and also, I don't know, like get recognized. It was something that we've been working on for so long. As coming from Eastern Europe, we didn't feel like we were like in the middle of the space. So being in New York, talking with these people in their like hometown, or it was their kind of field. It felt really, really good to be there and be part of this more solidly. And also this was the time where we had like a little bit of time on our hands, and we decided that Guild did not have a landing page yet. A lot of products have, or a lot of other projects have no product, but they do have a landing page, which kind of serves as like a sales pitch / funnel for future users. For us, it was backwards. We did have the product ready and running and being used, but we did not have a landing page. But in June, we quickly made one, which is still the same, and I really, really want to change it, but it's the same. And we had one. Woo! So that was good that we got to doing that. It's also kind of a very big skill to be able to do an accurate and time, like a landing page that transcends time in a little way, because you don't have to update it every 6 months because your mission changes. It's really hard to write copy or get your message through that way. You have to be extremely clear. So copywriting, landing page making is a big skill. And yeah, let's move into July. Sorry?
What I just wanted to add that, like, what you just said, like how hard it is to gather that information that will be valid for a longer time, and you don't have to update all the time. Like, this is exactly what we are experiencing when we're doing the knowledge base, also on our mission, vision, and all these things. So it just keeps happening. But we have our landing page. It's better later than ever.
Yeah,
So let's
agreed.
go to July.
Yeah, let's get into July, seventh month of the year. In July, we really, the tour season was on fire, and we went to Barcelona. There was an Ethereum hackathon and conference there where I got to be on stage again talking about building strength into organizations. And it was also not a big guild show, but it was along the lines of communities and orgs, and a very great experience. I think this was the highest quality organization in the like for a conference that I've seen. It was really really nice. Although the team I know is this was their first conference that they did as well, which is very impressive. And then another event that we did is we went to Paris for ETCC 5. It was a kind of little bit of a romantic moment because ETCC 4 the year before was the first ever crypto conference some of the team we've been to, and made our first ever connections in the crypto world. So it was a very well rounded moment to be back in Paris again. And it's a little bit of a different scene because this time we got to speak about Guild or our Quest feature that was coming out, and how to build these like more engaging experiences for communities. So that was really sweet. I really enjoyed it. And also just the whole Paris week, if you can or if you have the chance, I really recommend doing it. It's a very well put together week in a sense that it's always at the same venue and the side events are crazy and a lot, and which while still being like a smaller conference. So it's a really good one. Hannah?
Mm, Yes, and also to this event, we had a really special Lego merch. Personally, this is my favorite. I just put some pictures in the secret chamber about the Arc the Guild show of thread, where actually we had the Arc the Guild um, built, and we even put like croissant on it and the Guild.xyz logo. So it's so cute.
Oh, the little
Uh,
croissant is definitely my favorite part. Such a cute one.
I didn't even know these kind of things exist in Lego,
Oh,
to
they
be
do.
honest.
They do.
Like, so many things are just existing, but we're using them. We're using them, so it's all good. Besides these events, in July, we were really happy to announce that we just dropped, we just had experienced the first POAP drop with 1,300 participants. Actually, it was the POAP community call, where we had this amazing experience. And shout out to the dev team who made it happen. I love it how they are just on every single event where they were experimenting with this pull-up drop, and they were there to see everything is good. If something is happening, they are troubleshooting. So it was really nice to experience it in the very beginning. Besides this, we had some numbers, some metrics to look back. Actually, it was the month when we reached 100,000 guild members in total. Besides this, it was our office's birthday, the first birthday. And also besides these, we already had multi-platform in production. We celebrated these things because our team worked really hard this July and even before to make multi-platform happening. And actually, we will go into this in later on in August, the multi-platform. But after that, we headed into August with new community events. At this time, we had already community calls. We were testing out some AMAs, Q, and something like this. But after that, we decided we need something more structured, and we came up with the idea of start organizing community stand-ups. These kind of events were for showcasing different use cases of guild, helping different guild admins how they can make the most out of their guild. At this point, we already had 5 community stand-ups. We had it with Lil Nas, we had it with Anamura, Wonderverse, Hope Protocol, and even with Dagora. It was the very first one. So yeah,
And
I
after,
loved this book.
yeah, I think it's a really, okay, so another point of the community stand-ups is we really wanted to have an event because the community calls is more like us talking. It's kind of a podcast, um, less interactive, and we really wanted to have a community event, which is a little bit more community focused, and we wanted to have a chance to highlight some of the builders and community mods and operators to showcase what they're doing and what their project is doing and how they're using Guild, and kind of inspire others in the community to do the same, and hopefully empower as well to be more confident and start communities and be better admins, hopefully. So yeah, after almost a month of having some of our multi-platform functionality in production, we actually announced it to the public in August. And it was a really nice article that we still share a lot, that kind of combines our Guild message that still stands since then. And Bernard wrote that, or as you guys know him, Nashek, he wrote that piece. It almost has 3,000 likes on our Guild page, on our Twitter page. It's pinned as our kind of like our thesis. Still, that was a really cool, exciting moment for us because this is where we're transcending being a token gating Discord tool into what we actually want to be, which is kind of connecting other projects and the internet and the blockchain and everything. So being more of this access management infrastructure that we're aiming to be. August is also the time because we did have, I think this was the first time we actually planned a campaign, or like a launch campaign. So we did come out with multi-platform, which we thought is changing our narrative to what we want it to be, which is this access management infrastructure. And we spent, I think, almost a month or like 3 weeks preparing with like a campaign for that. So it's not just a Twitter post that goes out once and then, people forget about it, because you want to be more intentional when you're communicating your mission and your product's vision and future and everything. So this is the time where we started with our first better, good quality Guild videos as well, and introducing our Guild quest. I don't know if you guys remember, quite a lot of you did it, and there's quite a lot of, I think almost 3,000 people who've seen that video on our YouTube channel. This is where we introduced our Guild Grower and Guild Maxi roles for everyone who is trying and supporting us in trying out these integrations that we introduced. The Twitter one, the 101 one, the Lens Protocol one, and so on. It was a really, really good time, a really big change. And since then, we could say that the campaign was kind of working and the narrative change is working, because the more people I meet or talk with understand more of Guild's vision and not just view it as a token gating Discord bot, but a little bit more than that, which is super nice to, get that feedback back. So very happy with that. And then also, this is where we come out with the narrative or the idea that Guild can also be used for growth. And we also released a YouTube video for that. It's more of like, the social engagement integrations with Twitter and Google Workspace and everything. And also, since then, more of our reputation protocols that we've integrated as requirements. And then at the end of August, we did have a special Guild theme joke race, where we had a Guild theme NFT meme as the winning joke for that week, which I was very proud of because I'm on it and now I'm on chain forever. Look, mom, I made it. So that was fun. Joke race was a good little community event that we did. Since then, there's Joke DAO Maxis, and it became a whole movement. So moving into September, Guild is 1 year old in the beginning of September. So right now we're a year and like 3 months old. So happy birthday in Guild in retrospect in September. We did post a little bit about how it looked a year ago. We still had our card system, and it was a little bit more simple and like an MVP. Now it's a little bit more robust and has a lot more features in it. And then after that, we get the chance to be at ETH Berlin at a hackathon and conference in in Berlin in September. That was really fun. That was when the Ethereum merge event happened, and it was really crazy to experience that in Berlin because Berlin is very, very famous for its hacker culture, and so it was a it was a crazy experience. We did go into a few co-working. There's this big hacker co-working space for crypto people, so we went there on the morning of the merge, and it was the vibes were high, so to speak. And this is also the moment where we had reached total a 1 million unique visitor on our website, which doesn't really qualify for a big metric or something to look out for, but it was also a big like milestone for us, more like emotionally or mentally. So yeah, September has been more of like an up cycle or like upbringing month for us. Hannah?
Besides all, yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I was just looking for my screen. Like, where is it? Where is
Yeah,
it?
don't worry about it.
There's so many tabs open. Besides these things, we had other things happening in the community also, uh, which was one more experience we had with our members. Um, we actually started playing around with Twitch streaming. And why is it important? It was the time when we started organizing early testing opportunities, like testing prod, fun experiences, events in the community. And I was like, why not mixing the good with the useful? So I had to figure out like if my computer can handle Twitch for 2 hours or so. So we had some members who even stayed there with me for like 1.5 or 2 hours. And we were talking there. I got the memo. You told me on the quiz nights you are not a big fan of Twitch stream anymore. So we didn't keep continuing these things. But yeah, this is what was happening in September in the community. And also we started of our integration avalanche with multiple announcements every week, which is an extra point. And then we were heading into October. So how it started the whole month, we reached unique numbers, like special numbers again. We hit 300,000 guild members in total. And we actually got the first guild that's member was over 100,000, which was the Arbitrum Guild. And currently they are over 200 and almost 210,000 members in it. And we also have another one, Zeta Chain, who is 200,000 also. But at this time, back then in October, which is funny because it wasn't a long time ago. And seriously, we are talking about this like it was, a really long time ago, like a year ago or so. But no, it was happening in October. And since the number of the guild members just kept growing, we got the first 100K guild. Our guild started growing also besides this, and there were so many people coming to our server, and not only for vibing, for joining, but also for support. So we had to think and act really fast, and we got into action of started planning our community strategy and implementing from the growth, because we found it really, really important to keep developing our support system, how we should do it, and how we could just reconstructure our whole community. So actually back then in September we already started working on it, but we started talking about it more after October, and it was the time when we really realized like this is something that we do need. And besides this, we started shipping a lot of integrations. I just want to ask, like, shall I add the stage to you, Reka? Would you like to say anything about our integrations also?
Sure. So we did for a long time in the autumn, so like September, October, we did fire up our integration machine, and we at the end of it I think integrated close to 30 partners and other projects in the space, which from your side it kind of just probably looked like announcement on announcement almost every day or at least once a week or a few times a week about a new integrated partner. And I think feel like we still need to do a better job of showcasing how these projects are really really useful. But yeah, those are really exciting. But we could go move over to November.
About November, we started organizing new kind of community events. We realized we need something which is more tech focused because before we had the community stand-ups for the communities, but what do we have for developers? And we came up with this idea of start organizing Build with Guild events, which is basically showcasing our API and SDK, like how different products are implementing, integrating our SDK into their product, their project. And we already had two Build with Guild, which was one with Wonder, and the second one was with Daylight. And stay tuned because we already have another Build with Guild planned for January.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's good.
these build with guild events are really good for like piping us up about what our dream is to have the guild functionality that we're like very focusedly building our infrastructure and have it in different applications natively so they also don't have to build out their own token gating or access management system but can use the guild infra. It's really really nice to see that in production. So yeah, moving forward, and also in November we did have so our POAP integration is kind of like a not publicly announced feature, but with our like very very eager communities and partners, we did achieve to drop to 10,000 POAPs by November, which is really cool and a big validation for this feature to be a valuable one. So we'll continue focusing on it. It's a very very core element of how communities are working and engaging. And yeah, moving forward, that's a very important and integral feature. Also in November in Lisbon, this was the last conference we went to, which was ETH Lisbon and the side events of that. Um, it was very nice, very chill, as in Lisbon style, you know. It's a very laid back conference and hackathon. This is also the point where we started producing a little bit more content. I tried interviewing hackers, which was turned out to be a very intimidating task because you know they're very busy. So I don't know how that turned out. I ended up mostly interviewing people, BD people, and sponsors who were not hacking but like sitting outside and by their little tables and everything. Yeah, and December, which is this month. So far, you know, we're kind of as we're going towards the end of the year. We're kind of fixing a lot of things, tying things together. Loose ends cannot remain loose ends for next year. Also working on a lot of scaling because we did experience quite some growth over the year. So we're preparing to do even more of that next year, and for that we have to be way more robust. One more little piece of news that happened this year. I don't think we've announced this to you guys, but we've been featured in the Binance Research Web3 Social issuance, and it's called Road to Mass Adoption. It's pretty cool. Gail has a little bit of a point there, which is nice. It's a good little confirmation that what we're building is worth looking into, so we're very happy about it. And a little bit more about like our special things that happened during the year. Hannah?
There were some special experiences. We were collecting and making memories both online and ERL. One thing, or let's just say two things that was happening in online, which has a special place in my heart, is community initiated and led events. We were actually on two POAP paint parties. We were there. The Guild Castle is on the canvas for the Ethereum merge party. And also, we have another paint party, which is happening now, which is the the pastel color palette. And why is it really special? Because this is something that was coming from the community, and actually those are our active members. And shout out to our knights who are making it happening and who are leading these initiatives.
Yeah.
So this
Also,
is really good to to see it actually.
also, I forgot from December, but December is also the time where we've been giving out night roles for very active and helpful community members before. But December is the time when we started having more of a direct communication with the Knights, and we now have a Telegram group where we keep in contact and mostly on a day-to-day basis, and it's really cute. Sorry, word back to you.
Yes, actually, that's all. I just wanted to say, like, this is really good to see, like, when your community is starting, like, being active without you even like initiating these kind of things. And looking back on the canvas, and yes, the Guild Castle is there. After that, in general, or like to summarize it, because I don't want to like take a lot of time with this, because we have still a lot to talk about, is the growth of Guilds of Guild. And overall, during this last year, not only our guild growth, when I joined the team, it was 400 members, and now, like, I just checked it today, we have 60,000 members, which is something that, like, it's good to say, and for me, it's a big number. Um, it's based on everyone's perspective, but not only our guild grow, but also we welcome so many communities on Guild.xyz. We had Leonels pull together, Friends of Police, Zerion, or even Developer Though. And we talked already about Arbitrum and Hope Protocol. So this is just something which is really good to have, and be happy that these communities chose to start creating guilds for their communities.
And to summarize on the product's more overall side as well, we went from being in alpha to being a kind of well recognized and very used DAO tool, which is super cool and very humbling. And from having around like 3,000 guild members to above 600,000, or sorry, 700,000 in a year, and from growing our Twitter from 6,000 followers to 50 plus thousand organically, and now having more than 4,000 guilds in total with above 1,000 communities having 120 people in it, which is kind of, you can look at them as a valid um, organization almost. So it feels very good that we did this growth this year. This is what Hannah just sent in the chat. This is kind of the crazy chart that we did in the years from January. We did not expect this, and as you can see, like the little bump in the beginning, I think that was April, I think, if I remember correctly, when we were in Amsterdam, and we were like so stoked about that growth. We were like, hell yeah. That seemed amazing, and we didn't even know what else was possible after that and what we'll experience by the end of the year. And yeah, being on this journey just really feels like we're living the full startup experience, all the little lessons and learnings of it. Right now we experience a lot of the growing pains that come with, you know, a team, a product, and everything, a community that's growing, and there's different implications that come with that rather than just starting one. So like it's already a different set of problems that we're learning to solve right now, hopefully better than ever, or at to the best of our abilities as a team, as a community. So this year was a lot of experimentation and a lot of iteration on the every side of it, like with the product, the features, releasing things, then sunsetting them, and trying new role systems, and then deleting them, and opening new channels in the community and deleting them, and trying new community strategies, communication strategies, and everything. And we just wanted to thank you for your patience and support and enthusiasm and being brave guilders in the big wild internet, and being very big champions for trying new technologies and trusting us still, even though we do have hiccups sometimes. we're very happy that you guys are still here. So thank you so much for coming today. We do have one more thing, a special thanks, which Hannah, I don't know if you want to get in on, but we want to say a little special thank you from both of us to the whole Guild team for sticking with us and doing their best all year, and just growing as people, as an org, as a product in every way. Do you want to add to that?
Yes, actually, I just wanted to say like thank you also. It means a lot to us that we've been able to achieve all these things together, both with the community and also with the guild team. And I think we can truly say that like it is true the power of the community and our tight knit team that we've got here where we are now, and there is still a lot more to come next year. So thanks everyone. As an extra special thing in the Secret Chamber channel, I wanted to show you some pictures that wasn't really seen before. But yeah, this is our team. You can see it there. I posted some pictures. You can see how it is going in our office, what is happening, how, do we look if anyone is interested. But yeah, these are the team, these are the guys who are building all the amazing things that we are using here. So I can say that like I'm feeling really proud of being part of this whole team. So yeah, thank you.
Yee. Very cute, very awesome. It kind of got, I'm like very red right now, just from the warmth of my room and also the appreciation that is going on in the air right now. But yeah, I think we're ready to finish up today. We'll also a little bit while Hannah's preparing with our little drop today. I'll also say that we do have a new channel that's opening up. It's gonna be called Holiday Cheer, and we just had this silly idea today with Hannah when we were talking about today's call that we should have a channel where even though we won't have a community event until the next year, to keep in contact and kind of like show you that we still think of you, we're gonna share once a day something silly like a playlist or a meme or a gif or a poem or whatever, something that we think is funny, or something that we'd like you to see or feel like we think of you. So look out for that. We're gonna open it up after the event, with today's first little message, little gift, little bit of content. So that's an extra thing that we're gonna do until the new year, and then we'll see you with the next community events live in the next one. Hopefully, you'll have a great holiday, get a little bit of rest, a little bit of relaxation, and be ready to take on the world next year because we're going at it.